Welcome everybody to our Thursday Thanksgiving Vegan Club fun discussion get together time today. And so hello everybody as you are arriving. And we've got Sue on the other side.
I am live as well.
Yay, Sue is live. So welcome everybody to our Thursday. So hang on a second here. I'm making a quick adjustment. It won't take long. It won't take long at all.
Yeah, I look quite bright actually. We were struggling. Hello! Oh my goodness, you lovelies. Where is the comments?
Content never aired on the U.S. Let's see. Today is the 22nd of November. Allowing comments. Blah, 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 blah. I think I'm good here. So let me just save that. I got Mary Jane just on my side. Hello, Mary Jane.
Hello, Deborah.
So glad to have you.
Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Kate. We've got 14 on. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you who are in the States.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. It's noon, and I don't think that we're going to, probably on my side, we're not going to have a very big audience because I suspect most of our viewers on this side are going to be preparing Thanksgiving meals or watching the big parades that are all over the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and there are parades all over the place, and so all kinds of events, and we understand that. So I doubt we'll get very many, but we'll get a few, we welcome them along.
Hello, all of you. Hello. Thanks for coming on your Thanksgiving days. Yeah, I'm getting some lovely comments. I've got 16, 17 on. They're all coming on now.
There you go.
Which is fantastic. And they're all saying hello to you as well.
Well, thank you very much. And I put the address to my channel if anybody wants to bop over and just ask a question and then come back over to your channel or go back over, they can. At least, I don't know if that's showing up on your side or not, but I did add it to my stream, and so that's up to you if you add it to yours. Hi, Sal. How are you? Hi, Maureen. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, Laurie. Hi. We have Jagger in the house at the moment, so he's
Jagger cooking around there.
Yeah,
huh?
He is. I think
shouldn't say cooker and Jagger at the same time. That's kind of mean sounding.
Probably not, but I know what you mean, so I'm all like. He's got Wink's box of beer and he's kind of chucking it around the kitchen. So
there you go. So I finished my 3-day fast, and when I woke up this morning, I was out. As things sometimes are, I was out of Dave's Killer Bread, my 21 grain, 21 seed favorite variety.
Wow.
But we did have some whole food plant-based sourdough bread, which is a really good choice. So I dropped a couple of those dudes in the toaster, put a little margarine on it, enjoyed those, and then about an hour later, the DWMA, she does a beautiful job with avocados that I can't reproduce, the way she's able to peel them out, and then she chop, she slices them down, and then lays them out, so they're really beautiful. And she said salt to taste, so it's the first time I'd had any salt in days, so I just a little pinch of my truffle salt on there, and it was fabulous, and I feel fantastic. Although for some reason I'm enduring some of the shakes today from the old neurosurgery stuff, the old neck shakes. So I've taken an extra little muscle relaxer, so maybe that'll help me today. So Kate, hi, happy Thanksgiving to you. And you're going to DS in-laws, daughter and son-in-laws for dinner, Mary Jane. Okay. So what are we going to talk about today, Miss Sue?
Well, I just wanted to say that Deborah made a sugar-free pumpkin pie today. She actually forgot the sugar, and it was delicious. So well done. Wow. That's fantastic. Absolutely
I would think in that situation, would you think a little stevia would probably have helped? I mean, even though it was absolutely delicious, do you think that, in some of those recipes for pastries and things, do you think that stevia could be a good substitute for people? And I'm not a baker, so I'm asking from a real I know, like when I make coffee, if I've got some stevia, and I put some stevia in my coffee or some Splenda. It's delicious. So either one's fine to me. But I wonder, like for recipes, does that extra content of product make a difference in the recipe, or is it just for flavor? I mean, I don't know.
I think what I find really useful in baking is coconut sugar, organic coconut sugar. It tastes like Demerara sugar, like it's kind of slightly caramelized. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that adds that we use a lot of that for cooking anyway. So that could be something that could be sprinkled on top. It doesn't taste of coconut at all. I don't know how they make it taste like sugar, but it's really good for you because it's it's a different one. So I think I put a recipe up yesterday, which I'm just writing all the instructions because some of them like to read it, which is my liquid Snicker protein shake, which is just to die for and completely hits the whole chocolate craving thing. And when you use raw cacao in it to make it really chocolate, and you want it really heavily chocolatey, it's quite bitter, so it can make it, if you're used to eating confectionery, it won't feel sweet enough. So I actually added some coconut sugar to it just to balance the bitterness of the chocolate up, and it was literally like melting a Snicker bar and just drinking it. It's absolutely gorgeous and 100% really good for you. So if any of you haven't seen that video's on my channel. And I've got links to the protein powder that I use because people have been asking me where they can get it. And it literally 100% healthy, plant-based, whole food, 100% amino acid score, so no, he might have some sandwiches. Jagger's sniffing around Finnion's school bag, which he's unusually left behind. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. So I added a little bit of flaxseed to it to give it a slightly biscuity taste and give it not so much of a drink, but so that you were kind of, when you took a mouthful, you're left kind of going, there are some bits as well.
Yeah, a little substance to it.
Yeah.
There.
And I used a whole food peanut butter that just has one ingredient. Peanuts, rather than...
Awesome.
I think, is it Cif or Jif, your peanut butter? One of your leading brands?
Jif.
You see, that probably, if it's anything like our leading brand, which is called Sunpat, it has E numbers, it has corn syrup, it has sugar in it, it has a huge amount of... It has salt in it, it has stabilizers in it, all of that rubbish you don't want to be eating. And Wink is just going, that's why it tastes so good. So,
well, he's right. It does add a lot of taste to it. And there's a thing called
whoops.
What's the word I'm looking for? The,
lay down,
zone. It's a zone. It's the bliss zone. And so what manufacturers have discovered is that you can take anything from lasagna to a dessert to any kind of meal product. It could be chicken. It doesn't matter. And you can add a little bit of sugar to it, and more people will like it. And then you can add a little bit more sugar to it, and even more people will like it. Yeah. And they keep doing this until they find the maximum amount of sugar before people start saying, I don't like it as much. And that's the bliss zone. And manufacturers know about this. So that's why it's so important to look at your ingredients when you buy things from the frozen food section, or you buy things, doesn't matter, in the grocery store.
Why don't you just sit down for a minute?
Because they're going to add as much sugar as they can, because they know that they will reach a zone where people will like it the most at that zone. And they'll call sugar different things. They're not going to say cane sugar. They're going to say something like maltodextrose or dextrose or other forms of sugar. So basically, if you're getting something that looks like, and you look at the ingredient list and it's not a whole food that you recognize, basic ingredients, apple, peanut, almond, broccoli. If you start seeing long mono and disaccharides and think, you're dealing with processed foods that are not necessarily as healthy for you as they should.
And even healthy things that are promoted as good for you, or low calorie or low fat, which is all not good for you anyway, but like a healthy option. If you can't spell the ingredients, if there's more than 20 ingredients, it's not good for you. And it's the con which has got our nations fat, basically, because they think they're doing the right thing. It's got we have a color coding which has green for vegetables and orange for, and it's like a wheel which gives the percentage of protein, carbs, sugar, salts in it, and it might say low salt. But you look at the amount of salt, even the healthiest, most wholesome breakfast cereal has got such a shed ton of salt and sugar in it. You shouldn't be, eating it. It's really, it's very, very misleading. So look for whole ingredients. You'll find a lot of things are like stabilizers. The stabilizer is to make sure that the peanut butter doesn't separate into oil and solid matter. You have anti-caking agents, which are in powders and things that you make sauces with. And these things literally are what is making us sick. So really look at ingredients.
And Sue, you brought up a really interesting way to decide whether something's a whole food product or not. I mean, if you look at ingredients and you can't read them, you don't recognize them, there's a good chance that there's some kind of preservative or they're an additive designed to do something to make the food tastier that's probably going to have some negative consequences, or at least non-positive consequences to your health. Another way of looking at this, and I want to toss this out there, is if you buy something and there's a chance that it's not going to rot within a few days, it's probably not a whole food. Okay? So, now, I fail on the whole food sometimes because I like my lentil soups because they're quick and easy, and they, for the most part, are pretty healthy. So, everybody has to kind of do what works for their lifestyle. We want to be as whole food plant-based as possible, but unless you live on a farm and all you do is eat tomatoes and green peppers and, onions, you're probably not going to be completely whole food plant-based. But we do know the more toward that direction that you go, the healthier you're going to be. So if you're not having to pick up fresh fruits and veggies at least a couple of times a week, then chances are you're not eating whole food plant-based because it's just very difficult. Chances are you might be eating a lot of plant-based stuff, but not necessarily whole foods. I uploaded a video a few minutes ago and we talked about the things that the DW does at my house with potatoes to make them the most incredible mashed potatoes you can ever eat. And they include things, not just the salt, but they put in sour cream and heavy creams and all these things into it. And it's an amazing taste, and there's no question but that's true, but is it healthy? And the answer is, well, then you're back to, you're consuming animal products, guys. So she promised that she would leave some of the potatoes out and without doing any of that to it, and I said, that's fine. But she made me this amazing tray of veggies, fresh veggies, all chopped up. She's going to bake them for me, and it's going to be just incredible. I put the video up, but maybe if we get to the end, I can run the video on here too. But anyway, so if you can't read the ingredients and if it's not going to go bad by the end of the week, chances are it's not a whole food plant-based item. And we're not saying it has to be. What we're saying is the closer you can get to that goal, the healthier you're going to be. Would you agree, Sue?
I would absolutely agree. And you'll feel so much better, and that's the thing. And I know a lot of you, I've got loads of you here putting comments on saying that you've been eating plant-based, you've lost weight, you're feeling much better, you're feeling, a lot more energy. And that's because of the quality of the nutrients you're putting in your body. And your digestive system isn't struggling with things that it's kind of not really designed to digest. So the energy that, when your body's trying to, digest a giant steak and a load of, butter laden potatoes and, some, whatever, it's busy going, oh my gosh, oh, we've got to sort that out. Oh, this is really hard to digest. And while it's trying to digest stuff that isn't easy to digest, it's not it's, there's X amount of energy, and your digestive system takes a massive amount of energy, to process all of that. And it's just not going to pull out all the nutrients from the good things that you're eating, because it's got to make sure it keeps your pH balance, your blood pH balance right. And these big kind of Christmas dinners that, when you're drinking alcohol, you're having rich puddings, you're having rich starters, you're nibbling, you're grazing all day, and then you eat a massive meal with all the food groups on it, and a load of cream on your Christmas pudding or whatever. And you wonder why you feel absolutely exhausted, and everyone falls asleep in front of the telly.
Right, absolutely. And we just got a message over here from someone calling themselves the Book Lover. If you put your veggies in Debbie Meyer's green bags, they stay fresh about 3 times as long as normal. But I know there are ways of vacuum packing seasonal fruits and vegetables, and you and I both agree on how important that is to take advantage of that. But there's another way besides freezing, and that is drying, and that's something that I'm looking at for next year, because I'm going to be doing a garden, and I want to be able to grow my veggies and dry them, and so that they can last up to a year and a half when they've been dried. Basically, just a dehydrator.
Yeah.
And right, so you take advantage of this fresh, delicious food that's coming in season, and then you take and you dice it up or slice it or whatever you do, and you put it in these little bins in a dehydrator, and then they come out and you put them in a baggie and then you freeze them. Well, they last just incredibly long, and you have all the nutrients just frozen right in there, dried in and frozen in, and then you can take and you can add them to whatever you're cooking, and you've got all that benefit. So, and the other thing, you don't necessarily have to grow them yourself. If you know that certain times of year, certain produce is going to be in season, and you go to your farmer's market and you can find that, then that's, again, same opportunity. And I don't actually own a dehydrator, but I've looked at them, and I'm probably going to get one for myself for Christmas or something, so I can be ready for the new year.
That's fantastic, and that answers Lindsay's question about frozen veg. They are good for you, and the thing about frozen vegetables is we have a company called Birdseye, and their whole strap line is that they're frozen within 45 minutes of being harvested. And that's absolutely true, because a very good friend of mine is a farmer, and he used to grow peas for Birdseye, and I've actually witnessed them pea vining a field, and they literally, there's a convoy of lorries, and they just put the peas in, and it goes straight to a freezer unit. And if they're not frozen within that period of time, so what you're doing is when a fruit or a vegetable is harvested, you lose a high proportion of the nutrients and a lot of the flavour within an hour of harvesting. And this is from a farmer who told me this. So when fruits and veg are frozen, they're usually frozen really close to being harvested, or they spoil. So you're trapping a lot of nutrients. So frozen peas are often more nutrient rich than the ones that you shell yourself, because they've...
And that is 100% correct. And listen to what Sue's saying here, because this is very, very important. I've done a lot of research in this area. So listen to what she's saying about flash frozen vegetables, because a lot of us, we don't want to cook for 20 people. We want to cook for smaller amounts. So getting those smaller packages of frozen vegetables is a really good way of eating healthy. So go back. I just want to give you the thumbs up on that, because I think this is really, really important.
Yeah, it is really important. So you can get loads of things that are frozen. You can get a really good, spinach is just like brilliant. It's so good for you. It's great to chuck into stir fries. I adore spinach, and it's just an amazing vegetable. But it goes off in those bags really quickly, and you have to be like stuffing mouthfuls of raw spinach into your mouth. And actually, wilted spinach it's more easily digested by the body. But you can buy it frozen, and it tastes marvellous. They squeeze it into little briquettes. So that's a really good frozen vegetable to have. Peas are absolutely great. Pea protein is really, really readily digested by the body. It's one of the easiest forms of protein to digest. So frozen vegetables are good. And if you do go to your farmer's market and you've got these massive deals, especially at the end of the day, they're trying to give you a whole bag of sprouts, to feed 50 people. Just look up on the internet how to freeze these things, because you don't freeze them raw or they get freezer burn. You have to blanch them for like a minute in water and freeze them, and then so you can save your produce and you can get that thing out, especially if you live alone, because Lindsay was saying she lives by herself, and it is, you buy a massive cabbage and then you've either got to eat cabbage every day for 10 years, or some of it's going to go to waste, or it's not as healthy as it was. So have a look at what you can do with the various vegetables, and you can do the same with fruits as well. Although there aren't so many fruits available in a lot of parts of the world at the moment, but you can do the same with like strawberries. Just freeze them separately, and then once they're frozen, you can bag them up, and they're just like ice cubes in a bag.
And I think that our grandparents used to, put vegetables up for the winter. They would can them or they would jar them somehow. And that was a traditional way of storing up those really healthy foods for the wintertime and into the next year. We have an advantage. We don't have to learn the pickling process, the canning or jarring process with all the boiling and everything that goes into that, because we can just get flash frozen foods, and you can actually buy yourself a pretty reasonable sized deep freezer for probably less than $300 or $400, and you can keep it chock full of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think alternatively, if you really want to do something on your own and you want to do the drying or the dehydrating, I think you can do that and seal it. And I don't even know if it's necessary to freeze it after that, but maybe just keep it in a cool, dry kind of area. So we'll all learn together on that.
Yeah, we will. And I think the other thing about frozen fruits and vegetables is when you're making smoothies, when you blend up the ingredients, the actual action of the whatever whizzing device, NutriBullet or food processor you're using, actually heats up the food. So it's really good to chuck some ice cubes in. So what you can do instead of that is you can chuck some frozen pineapple in or some frozen banana in, and that cools it down, and so you're adding fruit to blended things. So it's really good to use frozen ones. I mean, you can buy a lot frozen already, but if you're buying stuff yourself, it's really good, to throw some frozen spinach into a smoothie. You'll be surprised, you can't really taste some of the vegetables in it, but you get this lovely flavour. So can I just remind people, or just mention to those who haven't been on, if you've got a question, could you put it in caps so that I can spot it? Because I know you're all chatting to each other and saying hi as well. I'm going to have a little whiz through. I'm saying the word whiz a lot tonight. Because there are some long messages, and I just want to check that they're not questions for you. So I will give the floor to you while I just find some questions for you.
You're talking about me?
I'm talking about you, honey.
I was afraid of that.
You were afraid of that.
Because I've been playing with some of the overlays and so forth here, and so I put that out there. So I'm going to put my email address on here in case somebody. I had some wonderful questions here in the last few days, and I've gotten to most of those. But I think in the future, if you send me a question and you would like, we could actually answer it live, or we could record an answer for you, and I think that would be kind of fun to share with everybody.
I've just Teresa's asking, what do I think of peanut butter? Peanut butter is great as long as you're using a whole food peanut butter that has this one ingredient. We covered that at the beginning of this. So what you don't want is your main brands. I don't know if you're in the UK, Sunpat, it's got loads of other ingredients in it, E-numbers, stabilizers, sugars, corn sugar, it's processed. It's not good for you. So look for one that just has, the one I use has got peanuts in it and a bit of sea salt. You can't go wrong there. But other nut butters are really delicious. Make a refreshing change because peanut butter's kind of, gone on a lot. Have a look at hazelnut butter, almond butter, cashew nut butter, pistachio nut butter, and you can even get a pumpkin seed butter. It's green.
Hazelnut butter too.
Yeah,
right?
Hazelnut butter. And the pumpkin seed butter is green, so it looks a bit weird when you spread it on something. But it's absolutely delicious, guys. Absolutely delicious. And these are good to add into smoothies and kind of fruit smoothies. And I'm going to be doing some recipes on that because I know a lot of you are new to those. And it adds a lovely nuttiness to it. So I just
here's a question that I think is kind of interesting. It's from Kat McLean. She says, how can someone like me who's not healthy, and I'm being honest here, but my issue is that it's a lot more expensive for fresh plant-based diet, plus I'm not great with menu ideas. I say hogwash to that. I know how much you spend on animal products that you're eating, and I know how inexpensive frozen vegetables are, canned vegetables. So if you're only comparing the amount of monies that you are spending for animal products that you're eating now compared to I don't know these high dollar vegetables and things. Most veggie. I can eat a can of lentil soup by Progresso. It's $1.50. I mean, come on, that's a meal.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive. So I don't know what it is where you are, but I think the truth is most of us who are not whole food plant-based eaters, we whip through McDonald's, we whip through Burger King, and it's not unusual to for a family of 3 or whatever afford it to have a $30 bill. And there's no way you would spend $30 on a vegan meal for that same family. So I say hogwash. So I just don't believe it. I've seen it. I'm doing it. I know you can go organic and you can spend 3 times too much for the same vegetables, but that's just ridiculous. It really is. So I would say, like Sue said, hit bird's eye, get yourself some fresh fruits and vegetables. Get yourself some bananas, get yourself some apples, and no, those aren't cheap, but neither is what you have been eating. So, a lot of it's a selection choice. Saying that it's too expensive to eat healthy is just not going to cut it around here because we're doing it and we know that's not true.
Pulses,
the most expensive
really
part
cheap.
of our Thanksgiving dinner that's coming today isn't the cauliflower and the broccoli and the onion. It's the deep fried turkey. Okay, so I hear this. Well, I can't afford to eat healthy, and that's just wrong. You can go in and you can get the frozen or you can get the canned if you can't afford the fresh, and you can eat healthy. You don't have to put meat products into your body all day long. So, you're not healthy and you're being honest, and I appreciate your honesty. It is not a lot more expensive for a plant-based diet. But yes, if you want something that's organic and fresh and all that nonsense, I mean, you're willing to eat whatever junk they're giving you right now, but yet if you go vegan, it's got to be fresh plant-based. So I think that's a little bit, not apples to orange comparison. So get yourself, and as we progress, Sue showed a recipe, and I've just got finished. I had a video I uploaded earlier that just showed chopped veggies and onions and things like that they're going to broil for me for my Thanksgiving dinner. And I guarantee the more expensive parts of the Thanksgiving dinner we're doing are the meat-related parts. So it's just not true. So, if you're looking for an excuse not to eat healthy, then you'll find it. But if you're looking for healthy fruits and vegetables that you can eat, you can certainly find that stuff.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Here's another one. Is there a cookbook that uses recognizable ingredients for vegan eating? There are probably hundreds of them. Let
me look into that because I've got a lot of vegan and fruitarian friends that will help me with that.
There are so many of them. I mean, it's ridiculous for us. And I had somebody send me an email that we should prepare a cookbook, and like, why? There are so many of them out there. Forks Over Knives has and they're a video that's been out there forever, and they've got a cookbook, and there are lots of The book I've been recommending to a lot of people called Proteinaholic has recipes at the end. It's just really hard. I mean, if you go onto Amazon.com or just do a search for vegan cookbooks, I mean, you're going to get lots and lots and lots of, and there are people that have lived their lives doing this, what Sue and I are doing, that are telling people you can eat right. And, BruceandMindy.com. Go to BruceandMindy.com and they've got cookbooks and they've got recipes. They show you how to make everything from like amazing salad dressings, completely vegan, to whole dishes. So it's out there, and but I've heard this issue before that I can't afford to eat healthy, and I'm just going to toss it off as being nonsense because it really is. It is. Sorry, Kat, not trying to be offensive, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that. I think, yes, there's a lot of fancy vegan stuff. The processed kind of prepared vegan pizza, they're much more expensive than the normal ones because they don't sell as many of them. And again, you can make these things, you can buy stuff. So I would totally agree with you on that. But I do know that there are a lot of vegan stuff out there, and it is very expensive compared to
Sure.
the run-of-the-mill stuff. So,
and there's a lot of animal products out there that are very expensive, like Kobe beef that goes for $50 an ounce. So if we're going to compare the high end to the high end, let's do it. Okay. Yeah. I've sat down at a table with friends who are high rollers at a casino, and by the time we were done, we had a $4,500 bill at the table. Okay. So you can spend as much money as you want in any kind of food as you want. But for everybody who's watching, if you believe that you really can't eat healthy and be vegan, send me an email. I'll send you a list of things that you can buy because this is really simple.
Beverly said I don't have very much money.
Yeah, she brought home 3 or 4 cans of Progresso lentil soup because I love that stuff, man. I'll take that as a base, and I'll put some other little veggie on top of it and do my grillings powders, and I'm stuffed, man. It's a lot of food, and it's really healthy. Is it completely whole food, plant-based? It's pretty close. Yeah. Pretty close. Could I have made it from scratch and spent 3 hours in the kitchen? Yes. Would I have saved money? No. It would have been a lot more expensive to do all that stuff fresh. But you know what? It's extremely healthy, and it ain't a cheeseburger, folks. And so I eat whole food, plant-based foods, and I eat it as fresh as possible. But I'm not going to go overboard and spend $8 on bananas because they say organic on it. I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's not in everybody's budget. Certainly it isn't. So I totally get that. And I get the question about the cookbook because, there's even a funny, thing that goes around Facebook, which is, put this in and put this special, there's 25 ingredients to make a vegan shake. And a lot of the ingredients you go like, I've never heard of that. I haven't got that. Yeah. Oh, I can't make it. So I do get you on that, but I guarantee you there will be some books out there is simple, vegan food, which is absolutely delicious. So let me just go. Simple. I've got a load of comments here and they've been waiting a long time. So I just wanted to let your guys know.
I got a thumbs down on that. So somebody didn't like my answer. Well, it's the truth. So
yeah,
okay, the thumbs down on that.
Love,
I'll tell the truth.
Tough love. Okay. We've got, Beverly said she doesn't have very much money and she's managing it fine. You just have to have a closer look around. Kathy is, having their first vegan Thanksgiving. Everything smells great. And she's saying you have to retrain your taste buds. And by the way, I've lost 60 pounds this year.
Good for you.
So there's some motivation for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, Weight Watchers stuff has loads of sweetener and salt in it to compensate for the lack of fat. Yeah, Weight Watchers stuff, it's processed rubbish, I have to say. They're
it
just
really is.
fooling your taste buds
Somebody
with
may
salt
not
and
agree
sugar.
with you. You might get a thumbs down on that. Watch out. Somebody may like the Weight Watcher stuff.
I have a permanent thumbs down person. In fact, Wink and I giggle about it. Every time we put a Facebook video up, within minutes, there's one thumbs down. So every video's got one
I had a video that went on my main channel this week. It was like one of the most amazing cyst removal videos we've had in months. I mean, it was just beautiful. It looked like Little Onion that came out. It was amazing.
That one, yeah.
And there were like 20 down thumbs down videos. And it's like, these are people, they just don't want to see me succeed, or they don't like me or whatever. But, that's what our channel's about. So if you're coming on the channel to do that, you're just doing that to be that way. So, whatever.
They're just other people. You don't have to worry about what they think.
Part of the reason, and it used to bother me quite a bit, Sue. I got to tell you, that stuff used to bother me, and I used to go in and I used to fire back answers. But what I learned to do was just ignore it, and I don't go on the channel that often anymore. And I have an editor that puts the stuff up, and a lot of the answers and a lot of the responses on that channel, they're not me. The same with the YouTube channel. I don't have time for that. I'd much rather be here with people who want to be healthy. I really would.
Yeah.
But if you're going to log on here, and I've only got like 9 people, and you're going to thumbs down my answers, I'm going to ask you the question, what are you doing here? If you disagree, well, then say you disagree and we'll discuss it. But to tell me that, if it has to do with the cost of food, no, Kat, I'm not saying it was you, sweetie. I'm not saying it was you at all. But what I am saying is if you don't agree, then fine. Tell us why you don't agree so we can learn from this.
And we can discuss it. This is about everybody learning and everybody building each other up. This is a positive thing.
Here's a big surprise. You guys ready for this? We're not making any money doing this.
No, we're not.
I checked my channel for the month of November. This little channel has earned me exactly $11, okay? So think of the number of hours that I spent $79 just on the software. This is not a profit-making center for me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm here to answer your questions and to be honest and straightforward with you. If you don't like my style, if you don't like my technique, well then please don't watch, okay? But if you got to come in here and you got to put thumbs down because you disagree, but you don't have the guts to tell us why, well, then we have a character issue we need to talk about.
Right.
So maybe I need to be a little thicker skinned, Sue. What do you think?
I think so. And I think we've put a lot of energy, or you've put a lot of energy into talking about that negative thing. So we need to put that aside and ignore that because they've got a lot of airtime. So let's go back to all our absolute gorgeous lovelies who are.
All right.
Yeah, Beverly's laughing her head off here now. Let's go. Let's ramp up that vibration. So I just want to just tell your guys here. Bev, she's been putting some fantastic comments up here, and they're all chatting with each other as well. She has fasted for 2 days and lost 4.5 pounds. Thanks to the inspiration of you, Dr. Gilmore, and me with my recipes. So that's brilliant. Karen has been a vegan for years. Maybe, Karen, you want to just pop up some of your go-to healthy yumminess that you like to eat. That would be helpful for everyone because I haven't even been a vegan for a year yet. So you have got way more experience than both of us put together.
Neither one of us. You've got a month on me, Sue. You're a month ahead of me on being vegan.
I am.
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go on.
You ready?
Go.
How much weight have you lost since you started your vegan process back in January?
Oh, gosh. Probably about 14. I got back, basically got down to my kind of my go-to weights. And when I started it, I probably had about a stone, which I know you're all going to crack up. That's 14 pounds. And I got to my wedding weight, and I looked fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And when I went off the wagon this last 3 months while I've been ill with my cyst, I have put on 1.5 stone. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I put on 22 pounds. I've started
Isn't that
eating
amazing?
bread again. I've started
Do you
having
realize how
meat products.
parallel our stories really are? I mean, from when it comes to the nutrition. So you started in January.
Yeah.
You went through a medical problem, and through that you gained weight, and now you're reversing that process again, right? I started in February. I went from 247 down to 189 pounds. I went through my surgery and I gained all the way back to 206 pounds, and now I'm back down 10 pounds down to 196 yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So we have a very similar experience with this. You've dropped over 40 pounds. I've dropped over 50 pounds. And so the biggest change in each one of our diets is the fact that we have completely, for the most part, now I say completely with an asterisk, we have eliminated animal products from our diet. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. It's absolutely true. And I have, this is like, I started, like, not falling off the wagon anymore. Absolutely. Like I made a decision. And this is a decision. Everything you do in your life can be changed in an instant by you making a decision that you decide to stick to. So Monday, when I did my first fast, was my, I did my first fast last Thursday. This is my third one. So I started on Monday. Okay. And when I got to Monday, I'd lost 6.5 pounds, guys. And I know I've lost more weight than that, but I'm not going to bother to weigh myself till Monday, because I feel a lot slimmer. You know, I feel a lot healthier. You know, I've only been hungry once for about 5 minutes, and that was about 4:00 this afternoon, 2 hours before we came on with this third fast. So, I'm just going to pre-warn you, Wink's gone upstairs and Jagger is tiptoeing on his little trotters into the lounge. So we might have a few lights tipped over in a minute.
So we've got a comment that just came up regarding Whole Foods, and
okay.
I want to tell you that you can kill a cow and you can chop off a piece of meat, and that is a whole food. Plant-based, whole food plant-based is where we're at. And with that, the intermittent fasting, if you have an eating problem like I do, I'm an admitted food addict. I love to eat, and I will eat whenever possible. So for me, it's about purposeful eating foods that I know that are correct, that are healthy, and putting aside this desire to just cram anything into my mouth that might taste good. So,
I'm absolutely desperate to tell you this because Beverly's put this in 2 comments. Beverly is down 36.5 pounds. She is I can tell from all her comments, she's exclamation marks everywhere. She is so excited, and she's got 40 to go. So she's almost halfway there. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Bev, also I couldn't exercise with my back, but there's no excuse for that. In fact, I haven't done my 22 press-ups today, so I might actually bob down and do those live a little bit, hopefully when Jagger's not trying to get on top of me or something. Right, there, Jagger's knocked something over in the kitchen. Wink is laughing. Right, okay, he's trying to eat some gluey topping from Finion's Pizza. Garlic dip, he won't like that. They don't like the onion family. Right, let me find some more comments. Sweet potato is a great thing to eat. It's a great alternative to potatoes, especially if you're trying to drop weight. There's less starch in them. They're really good for you as well. You can make them into desserts. You can make like a jacket potato with them, and you can put lovely veggies and stuff. You can put vegan cheese on them. Absolutely delicious. They're great in soups and stews because they thicken it up if you're doing like a stir fry. I like to grate those in, and it makes it feel really all comforty to eat. They're absolutely great. What else have I got here?
Can I throw one in real quick? I've got Kat McLean says, thanks for being honest, and as you know, sometimes honesty is hard to hear, but it needs to be heard. And Kat wants to know why I decided to change my diet. And I will tell you that I was approaching 250 pounds. In fact, probably had been over that. And although I felt fantastic, I knew I wasn't healthy. And so I decided, after discussing this with some folks in my clinic, some other providers, what is a good way to improve your health? We decided to do a fast, and we started off with a fast, and then during that time period, we went and we did a lot of research in what's the best way to eat following that, and that's when we came across a lot of research about whole food plant-based eating. And so for me, it was a time in my life where for me to carry on a long sentence just like I'm able to do now, I would have to use inhalers, okay? I would have to use 2 inhalers every morning. And I still have a little bit of that, and you can almost hear it in my voice. I do have a little volume to my breathing. There's a little noise to it, but it's not like it used to be. I was also, I had high blood pressure, and I have a family history of high blood pressure, and I was on 2 medicines. I also had extremely high triglycerides, which before medications, my triglycerides were over 600, and my total cholesterol was over 330. Now, I was unable to know what my LDL or bad cholesterol was because when you have super high triglycerides, the machines are not able to read your LDL. Now, I was in bad shape. I was pre-diabetic. My hemoglobin A1C was 5.9. My kidney function had fallen. I was at a glomerular filtration rate of in the low 50s, so very consistent with being a 75-year-old man, and I'm in my early 50s. So I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to get healthy, and I was willing to try whatever I needed to do because I didn't want to be one of these people later on that was on 8 to 9 to 10 to 12 medicines to stay healthy. And I've got lots and lots of those patients, and I see them as they're progressing in their illness. So I decided to make a significant change to see if I could improve my health. Well, let me tell you, my cholesterol dropped to normal, my triglycerides dropped to normal, and that's off the medications for cholesterol. My blood pressure readings came down, that's 2 medicines gone. And guess what? I can breathe again, and I don't have to use inhalers.
Breathing's good.
So there's 2 more medications gone. That's 5 medications. I dropped over 50 pounds, in fact, close to 60 pounds. Then I had to go in for the neck surgery. So I did it to be healthy. I did it because I really wanted to find a way to be healthy. I had no idea of the significance of the improvement in my body health if I had a whole food plant-based diet. I did not know. It has never been a part of my training. And now it's a part of what I do every day. I talk to people throughout the day about eating their fruits and vegetables, just like Mama used to say, eat your vegetables. It's that simple. It really is that simple. The healthier, and I've read lots of books and watched lots of documentaries and just inundated myself over a short period of time with all of this data and all of this research, and it all says the same thing. The lower the amount of animal products that you put into the body, the healthier that body is going to be. And that is, it's beyond dispute. You cannot you can't scientifically dispute this and have any kind of reasonable belief that you're going to be believed or to be respected at all because the information is out there. Yeah. So all we're fighting against is the advertising and the belief that you need meat products for protein, which is an absolute lie, and that you need milk for strong bones, which not only is a lie, but the more milk you drink, the more likely you are to get osteoporosis. Okay? And that's a lie. And, there's a lot of information out there that's nothing more than advertiser-driven garbage. And you want to look at people who are healthy, go talk to people who are living a vegan lifestyle. Talk to Sue. Talk to me. Talk to the people that have made the changes and find out how much healthier we are. And say to yourself, can I do that too? Am I willing to put the work in? Because this is not easy. And while I'll disagree that it doesn't have to be more expensive, I'll completely agree it's a lot more work. It's 100%. I mean, it's a lot more work. And I try to keep it very simple. I'm not a chef. I enjoy cooking, but I don't have the time for it. So I look for ways around that to keep myself healthy by eating a whole food plant-based diet. And I'm very, very strict on my fasting and my intermittent fasting days. As you all saw, I just finished 3 days. completely. I did not eat from Sunday until this morning. It's Thursday morning. So I did more than 80 hours without eating with 0 calories. And I made lots of videos along the way so that you could see that you could take control of yourself and that you don't have to be victimized by these cheap calories that come from animals. So we're here to spread the message. We didn't invent it. We didn't do the research, but we are believers and we are recipients of the benefits of whole food plant-based eating and intermittent fasting. And Sue Sue and I are pretty close to the same experience. We started about the same time. And we didn't come together here over this, but we found we've got this in common, and that we feel that this is so important that we're willing to put our time into creating these videos and answering questions. My email address is up on here. If you want to talk about your medicines, if you want to talk about your health, and you want straightforward information, I'm more than happy to answer that for you. If you want to be critical, if you want to be if you want to tell us that we're wrong and that we should be feeding our children steak and bacon, well then by all means show me your research. I'd love to see it because it doesn't exist. Okay, Sue, back over to you. I finished my rant.
Yeah, you have. I have pretty much actually the same journey. I was already not using gluten, not having dairy. I was still eating meat, and I wanted to try this vegan lark because I just heard so many people go on and on and on about how much energy they had. And I already had a lot of energy anyway, and I just thought, do you know what? I want to do it. I'm a FOMO queen, the fear of missing out. So I had to have a go. And the difference is just astounding. And that last little bit of weight, because it depends, you lose weight quite quickly when you have a lot of weight to lose. But as you get closer and closer to your target weight, you lose it slower and slower, and you can kind of plateau. And I plateaued. Well, it got rid of my plateau and I got down to my weight. And I feel so good, and I just don't want to eat the other stuff anymore. So I would agree there. We are very similar in our journeys. So I have, some questions. I know you've been asking questions and we've been doing a lot of chatting. So let me just say, Helen has a peanut and gluten intolerance. So there are loads of gluten-free, alternatives. The, quinoa flatbread I make, that's gluten-free. There's like rice is gluten-free. Most rice is gluten-free. Brown rice is really good for you. There's loads of things that you can have that don't have gluten in them. Okay. So just look for the alternatives, because it's just going to make you feel like rubbish if you eat them, or even accidentally. Gluten is in a lot of products that you wouldn't think it's in. So read your labels. And if you have a peanut intolerance, don't have it. I don't know if you have an intolerance to other nuts, but you can use almond butter, almond milk. There are other nut milks. And if all of the nuts are off, maybe coconut is a slightly different nut. A lot of people aren't allergic to that are allergic to nuts.
If you're getting rid of nuts, I gotta go.
Yeah. So, you can try hemp milk or rice milk or oat milk. Okay. These are all gluten free. Right. Let me just go. Somebody had a really good question, which is probably miles down the bottom now. Please, could you put your, comments in capital so when I'm whizzing through, I can find them. What's the difference between fasting and someone with anorexia? My family gets upset when I don't eat. Do you want to handle that while I find some more?
I'd be happy to. If you have a diagnosed eating disorder such as bulimia or anorexia, you should not fast. This is not for you. Okay? You can do is eat whole food plant-based diet. You can eat healthier. But fasting is not something a person with a diagnosis of anorexia or bulimia or an eating disorder such as those should do. Now, if you're just like me and you're addicted to eating and you love to eat everything in sight, well, then fasting could be your solution, right? So there you go. That's the answer. So if you have a history of anorexia or bulimia, if you have a history of being overly thin and not eating, If you have a body dysmorphic syndrome where you feel like your body doesn't look like it's supposed to, then you should be seeing a psychiatrist or at least a therapist. And fasting is probably not something you should do. We've talked before about who should fast and who should not. Anybody can fast except for the following people: someone who is pregnant, someone who has type 1 diabetes, and somebody who has type 2 diabetes who is also on insulin, so they're really like a type 1.5 diabetes, or a person who has a true eating disorder like bulimia or anorexia. Those persons should not fast. But if you're just a big old chunky country boy like me and you just like to eat your country fried steak and all that nonsense, brother, sister, let me tell you, you need to take control of what you're putting in your body. And as soon as you do, you're going to become a changed human being, and you're going to find out who you are. And especially if you do an extended fast like I've done in the past, you want to know who you are as a person, do a 7-day fast. I will tell you what, you will find out what you're capable of. We're not recommending that people do that. We just want you to fast 2 days a week. We want you to consider intermittent fasting Mondays and Thursdays, or days that work for you. But once I reach, for example, if my weight gets down to 185 pounds and I'm at 196 now, so if I drop 11 more pounds, I will probably stop doing the twice weekly fast so that I don't lose much more weight than that. My darling wife is already unhappy. She thinks I've lost too much weight, so I have to take that into consideration. But am I healthier? You better believe it. Is Sue healthier? You better believe she is. Did you have a picture that you held up earlier on a different video of what you looked like facially, what your face looked like before you changed your diet and started with the whole food plant-based? Was that something I saw, or am I thinking of something different?
I don't think you are, but I have one of me. I used to be covered in spots as well. My skin was terrible. I just wanted to say on that, I think the question was, she's doing the fasting, but her family are worried that she's anorexic because she's fasting. So the difference is anorexia is a mental illness. It's fasting for one day is not you becoming anorexic. And Lindsay has asked, is it a myth that fasting puts your body into starvation mode, so makes you gain weight? I think it might be.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, there you go.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that one's a myth then.
Ridiculous.
Watching Dr. Gilmore's live feeds during lunch break on Tuesdays and Thursdays helps me very much, knowing I'm not alone. She's 56 and has type 2 diabetes and is loving the fasting. How do people deal with hunger pangs and feeling weak when fasting? Should they be feeling weak while they're fasting?
Well, it depends. If they're just new to fasting, yes, they're going to feel a little weakness. They're going to have the hunger pangs. They're going to have the adrenaline release. Their body's not used to it. Learning how to fast takes time, and that's why when people are getting started and they tell me, I can only make it 2 or 3 hours, we're not critical of that. We're saying, okay, good. So next time, try to go for 4 hours. Just try to keep improving, because you will if you keep working at it, okay? Somebody else, I hope I answered that. Did I get all of that? Because
I think you did. I've got that picture here, okay, of what my skin looked like before I was vegan.
And you can tell you're much heavier in that picture, too.
Yeah, much heavier. Much heavier.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Somebody asked me here, what are the benefits of fasting? We did a whole video. Was it Monday's videos?
I think it was Monday. So go back and have a look at that that video.
We did 2 videos, and we broke it up into like 5 and 5 of what the benefits of fasting are, Kat. So if you'll go back in and watch those videos from let's see, well, Monday, I guess it was. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah.
Either Monday or the previous Thursday, we went through the whole list of, a good list of 10 benefits of fasting. So we're not going to cover that ground again today with everybody, but let's just say it's been done, and we'll probably do it again in the future. But for now, we just want to refer you back to the previous videos. If you're on my channel, it would be the last couple of days. You can go back through and watch those videos and have a good laugh.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just answering. Somebody wants to know what probiotic I use. I am a great, absolutely fantastic fan of those. It's Digestion Plus. It's by Arbonne. What I'm going to do, Emily, is I'm going to put my email address in. If you email me, because I don't know if you've joined me on Facebook. If you have joined me on Facebook, send me a private message and I will send you a link so you can read all about it. But my email is sue.loveyourlife@gmail.com. The reason I'm saying this is because I can't talk and type. Right, now I just want to have a quick look. Yeah, don't forget to turn on your bell for notifications of when we're coming up. Oh, Jagger's getting up. Oh, Jagger, I thought you were asleep. Look, I'll show you Jagger. Oh no, there he is.
Oh, how cute.
He's laying at my feet, but he's wanting to get up now, so I think he's going to start doing stuff. So hang on a second.
Here's one that said, from the book Lever, said, would intermittent fasting for life not help manage food addiction? You're telling my story. For me, as a food addict, for somebody who loves to eat, intermittent fasting has been extremely important for me to get down to almost within the normal body mass index. I'm still actually at 26 on my BMI. So for me, without the intermittent fasting, I would probably be 30 to 40 pounds heavier because I can eat, boys and girls. Let me tell you what, I can put that stuff away. Yes, I would lose some weight probably if by staying whole food plant-based, but without the intermittent fasting, I would be much, much heavier. And although it's difficult to do, it is not impossible to do. So for me, going through my fasting days regularly, 2 days a week, helps keep me in control of what I eat and the amount that I eat. Because just because you're whole food plant-based doesn't mean you can't be an overeater. Let me promise you, you can still overeat.
Oh, yes.
Way too much starch. I've talked to lots of people that have tried vegetarianism and veganism and told me how much weight they gained. And the reason is they didn't have good information. They didn't understand what percentage of their body of their diet needs to come from fruits and vegetables. And we're talking about everything from carrots to celery to tomatoes, you name it. And fresh fruits and vegetables would also include bananas and apples and pears. And 80% of your diet needs to come from foods like that if you can. And yes, I will throw in that could be peas and carrots and in a can or in a frozen bag or similar, okay? 10% of your diet as a whole food plant-based eater needs to be white mushrooms or mushrooms because that's where you need to get a lot of vitamin D. And only 10% of your diet really should come from starches, and we're talking about potatoes and rice and things like that. And the problem is we get that reversed. We end up eating 80% starches and only 10% each of the other two. And if you do that, you will gain a lot of weight and you won't feel good and you won't be healthy. But my hemoglobin A1C went from 5.9 to 5.1, and I'm only eating plant-based products, no animal products at all. So the things that the dietitians and the nutritionists are teaching people who have diabetes how to eat are absolutely wrong. What they're guaranteed to do is worsen your type 2 diabetes and make you more insulin resistant. And this is why it's so frustrating for people who have type 2 diabetes who can't seem to improve their hemoglobin A1C because they're eating what they're told to eat and their A1C is not improving. It's gradually worsening. And I'm here to tell you, if you have type 2 diabetes, which is a form of insulin resistance, that if you will go whole food, plant-based, and you will follow our instructions, and you will do the intermittent fasting, you can be cured of your type 2 diabetes. Now, that's 100% correct. That's 100% provable. And I'm willing to work with anybody who wants to do it. But I know a lot of
so many people who have reversed that.
Nutritionists, They go see the nutritionist and they're told to eat lean meat, stay away from the carbohydrates because then they get a lower number, and that's true, they'll get a lower number, but their diabetes is worsening, so when they do actually eat some carbohydrates, it shoots through the roof because they don't have the ability to handle it anymore. If you eat a whole food plant-based diet, my A1C went from 5.9 to 5.1. I went from pre-diabetes to like completely normal, and I didn't eat any animal products. I went totally on a whole food plant-based diet. So I was only eating the stuff that they tell people not to eat. So explain that to me. You know? So the answer is simple. We've got it backward. We're in an epidemic of diabetes, and we're eating more and more animal products than we've ever eaten before. And we can't seem to piece this together as being linked, and it is, and it's an amazing link, and it's a very simple link. And we're spending more and more money in the health professions around the world to treat these diabetics, to treat people with diabetes, and we can make type 2 diabetes go away with proper food and nutrition and with restricting calories. And it's absolutely been proven. It's absolutely possible. It's simple, but not easy, but doable. Yeah. So whether you stay a type 2 diabetic or not, in most cases, nothing's 100%, but in most cases, it's the decisions you're making on a moment-by-moment basis as to what you're putting in your mouth. Yeah. And that's what I got to say about that.
It is. It's literally a decision. You have to decide that you're worth being the healthiest version of yourself. You're worth it. Nobody wants to be ill, you know, and you literally, you're used to where you are. This is your normal. Imagine if you could just switch it up and feel incredible. Imagine if you didn't have to traipse off and get your medications. Imagine if your story wasn't, oh, I have type 2 diabetes, but I used to have type 2 diabetes and I beat it literally by changing my diet. This is what I eat. You won't be able to stop yourself enthusing other people and passing it forward.
We want 1,000 people who will say they cured their type 2 diabetes because they listened to Sue and Dr. Gilmore. Yeah. And that's our contribution. We want to make, we want to make a contribution to the health of people around the world, and we want to do it one person at a time. And like right now, there's only 9 people on my channel. I don't care.
I've got
That's
25.
Fine.
So
I mean, I'm working with you. We'll do it. We'll start here. Share our videos with your friends on Facebook. Share our videos with your friends everywhere. Get them involved, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we will help them overcome that. There's not everybody's going to be willing to make the change, but maybe 1 in 10. And if we can get 1,000 people to change their lives, we will really have done something wonderful for our fellow mankind. And so I'm here. I'm willing to do my part. I know Sue is. And we count on you guys, though. So if you don't spread the word, if you don't get that word out, that different way of living, if you don't tell your friends who have type 2 diabetes, who are overweight, who have high blood pressure, who have cholesterol problems, who have
brain fog, no
coronary
energy,
heart disease, right? If you don't tell them, by the way, you're doing this
anxious.
Yeah. Get them on here.
Absolutely.
I'll yell at them.
Absolutely. People are talking about Snow White saying she gets a worse brain fog when she doesn't eat. And
that's normal
she's
when they first get started.
Anyway. She's going for it anyway. Lindsay's going for it. They're all talking to each other about that. Now,
Mondays and Thursdays, guys.
Every Monday, every Thursday.
If you want to fast with us, it's Mondays and Thursdays. If you want to be on the fast where you can log in and see how I'm feeling and how I'm doing and what I'm doing on the days that I'm fasting, for me it's Mondays and Thursdays. Sue, you pick your days, but I'm telling you it's Mondays and Thursdays for me.
Mondays and Thursdays.
Because it works well.
I am the energy queen.
That's right.
Well, it's all about what I put in my body, okay? It's all about what I put in my body. I'm a very high energy person anyway, and I do have more energy than most people. But my goodness, it's going through the roof for my old normal. It absolutely is. And the thing is, you know, I'm going to be 55 in March, and I feel better than I did when I was 20. Absolutely. I'm fitter. I never did any exercise when I was 20. I just, walked about being a slim person. And then I spent, my mid to late 20s being quite overweight, probably about 3 stone, 314s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight. And I've gone yo-yoed backwards and forwards all my life. Eating the wrong food, going out to dinner, drinking lots, of alcohol. I hardly drink any alcohol anymore. I don't even like beer anymore. Someone asked me that question. I used to live in Antwerp. It's like beer central. Best beer in the world is Belgian beer. Absolutely fantastic. And all I drank for 3 years was beer, like 7, 8, 9 beers a day. And I don't even really like it now. I like the idea of having one, and Wink drinks them, and every now and then I go, all right, do you know what? Yeah, I fancy a beer. And I go, let me just take a sip of yours first. And I'm like, actually, no, I don't want one. I'd rather have one of my, hydration drinks, or one of my fizz sticks, or one of my healthy kind of drinks that's, got, stuff in it that helps me, or water, water.
I'd rather have a beer.
You'd rather have a beer. Naughty! So, you're so naughty, but it is Thanksgiving, so I'm going to let you off. And I know you like your Coke Zero as well. Lots of people have said hi to you, Wink. He's preparing to, you going outside?
Yeah.
He's going outside. I think Jagger had a little snooze and he wants to go back out. He probably wants a wee. He's in here. He's just wondering. No, he's just doing something else. Lindsay asked, Wink's going to the chippy to get fish and chips.
No, I'm going to have pie.
Oh, he's going to have pie and chips, even more heart attack material. But anyway, on you go, darling, each to their own. So, how do people deal with their hunger pangs? Okay. I tell you what I do, and this works brilliantly for me. I have a drink of water or my detox tea that I absolutely love, And no, I don't have a cup of coffee. Wink would have a cup of coffee with 10 sugars in it.
I call that Connie's rule. I grew up next door to a super thin young lady. Her nickname was Bones. It was her nickname. And one time she was literally across the road. We lived down a dirt road in a rural area, and one day I was over and we were playing kickball or football, and this is in my childhood, and she says, "I'm hungry. I think I'll go have a glass of water." And I looked at her and I said, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're hungry, shouldn't you eat something? And you know what she says? If I just drink water, I don't feel hungry.
Yeah.
Connie's rule.
Well, I'll tell you a little something about Connie's rule here. Dr. Sue here in the chair. We are not actually very good at recognizing hunger. It's something that we're not brilliant at humans. And as we get older, our kind of reflex that tells us we're thirsty doesn't kick in. This is why a lot of elderly people get really dehydrated, because their body isn't telling them they're thirsty. So what we do is we very, very, very often confuse hunger with thirst. Actually, a lot of times you're thirsty, but you think you're interpreting it as hunger. So you go, have a snack or open that fridge door, swing off it and go, what can I eat? What can I eat? Oh, I know, I'll have that, And a lot of times, actually, you're dehydrated and you need to take a drink. So, correct me, am I wrong?
True.
It's true.
No, I think you make a good point. A lot of times people feel they're dehydrated, but they interpret it as hunger, and so they eat instead of drink. And that's why a lot of people, a lot of programs out there that offer diet advice and dieting, weight loss dieting, and that kind of thing. What they have you continue to drink water during the day to help prevent that feeling. So. Even though in some cases it's too much water, but the fact of the matter is they know that if they can keep you sipping on water throughout the day, that you're less likely to feel hungry. It'll make it easier for you to stay on their program. So that's true. And yes, we do have a lot of problem with our older patients not drinking enough water. I've also had the opposite problem with older patients drinking way, way too much water because they believe the more water, the better. And there is a limit to how much water one person can drink. So be smart about it. If you notice that you're filling up with fluid all over, and your legs are swelling and that kind of thing, you might be drinking too much water, okay?
Be sensible about how much water that you drink.
Right, be sensible. If you have normal kidney function and your doctor says that there's no problem with it, then you can work on trying to drink 2 to 3 quarts of water a day specifically. I don't think that there are days that I drink a lot of that, but or that much, but I do drink more fluids. I like my coffees and I like my teas, and yes, I like my Coke Zero Vanilla whenever I can get that. But hey, that's just that's me. Where I make my sacrifices are on my fasting days, my Mondays and Thursdays, and then when I do eat, I stay away from animal products, and I try to enjoy a whole food plant-based diet, and so that makes me feel healthier.
His Jagger's laying down again. He's been playing with Wink's beer box, and he's just chucked it all around the kitchen and eaten, ripped all the cardboard up, and now he's all tired and he's just sitting down there. Just thought I'd let you know. So
that's my kind of pig right there.
He's lovely. Now, someone has asked me, what am I going to do when Wink returns with chips and a pie? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to my guns because I'm on a mission. I'm fasting today. I am not going to eat any food because I want my health back. I had a glimpse of how good I'm supposed to feel, and I hadn't even finished getting to how good I'm supposed to be feeling because I hadn't got my yoga body. I wasn't doing enough exercise. I was just ready to go hell for leather, and then I got a cyst. Okay, so I'm doing that for me. So I don't care what food he brings in. I don't care if I love curry. I don't care.
I'm in the same situation today, Sue.
Yeah.
They're bringing over a deep fried turkey. And I'm telling you, those are delicious. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just not going to because it's not worth it to me.
No.
Because I have overcome my inability to say no to certain kinds of foods by doing intermittent fasting. I'm not in danger of, I'm just going to have a little bit of this and a little bit of that and that kind of thing because it's a slippery slope if you do. I have been a strict whole food plant-based vegan eater since I made that decision back in February. And if I've gotten any animal products, I promise you it has been accidental. It has not been on purpose. So, even you can work hard on being whole food plant-based, and it's possible that occasionally you're going to get something that's got a little animal product in it and you don't know. But certainly I'll know that this deep fried turkey is an animal product, and I'm going to say no to it, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because I'm more interested in my health and what that does to me.
Yeah, and that's you have to put yourself right first here. If you can be the healthiest version of yourself that you can possibly be, you're going to have all the benefits that we've talked endlessly about. You're going to be happier. You're not going to, have so much, moments. Your brain fog will go. You'll have more energy. You'll sleep better. Your joints will feel better. You won't ache so much. You won't creak so much. If you've got anything like irritable bowel or anything like that, that all goes away. Just leaves the planet, when you feel like you're supposed to feel, that radiates out of you. That's going to touch your family. That's going to touch your friends. That's going to touch your colleagues because you will be a better version of you. And it's not about what dress size you are. You will just be pinging out of the box. You were all attracted to me first because I had an ugly cyst on my back and you were concerned for my health. But you've stuck with me because of my energy, because of my positivity, because of my happiness, because, of who I am. I wasn't always like that. I wasn't. I was fat and stiff and depressed and miserable and shouty and short with my kid, and I moaned about things. I complained. I nitpicked. I sat on the sofa eating chocolate and watching telly and, binge watching box sets. That's how I used to be. I didn't used to have this, I didn't leave this impression with people. I was always lively, but I didn't attract people that were like, oh my God, whatever that girl's got, I wish that was in a bottle and I could just drink that down. That's because I eat differently now. I am just pinging out of my whole human existence. You know, I found my purpose in life. It's to help you guys feel like I do. Honestly, literally, every single day, I am just so grateful that I met all of you guys. You know, that I get to be here now talking to you. You know, there's 26 people here and you've got 9 or 10 on yours. You know, I'm talking to you people. Sometimes I'm talking to 300. You know, you're hundreds and hundreds of you are watching my videos on Facebook, you know, because you're getting something from this. You know, I've got hundreds and hundreds of messages from you guys saying how much you love me, how much I've changed your life. People have got jobs because they've gone, do you know what, Sue's right, I'm just going to do my CV and bang it out there. And that person has a new job now. I've got people with agoraphobia who haven't left their house in 10 years who have gone, do you know what, enough's enough, Sue, you're right. I need to be at least be able to go and put my bins out. I'm going to have a crack at this. You know, it's no accident that you're attracted to me. It's because I'm just pinging as a human being, and you can all have this if you put the right thing in your mouth, because it fixes your head. It fixes your sleep. You have more sleep. You have more peaceful sleep. I'm not creaking anymore. I'm not overweight anymore. Okay, I have put on some weight, but am I worried about it? No, because I know how to reverse it, and I've done 6.5 pounds of it, gone already.
Bingo.
You know, so you know, this is why I'm so passionate about it. Imagine if you're like this, your own personality version of me. Imagine how you're going to attract and affect the people you meet in your lives. I tell you what, it's the best feeling in the world. It's literally the best feeling in the world. And I know that's how you feel, Jack, because
I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel so much healthier. I feel like I've taken control of an area of my life that seemed to be out of control. That's, you know, so what I discovered is I didn't need to feel sick all the time. I didn't need to be on medicines, and a lot of this was just me, you know, mistreating my own body. So, yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to say goodbye because it's about 1:30 and I've got family in-laws coming over very soon, so I need to get in and assist. So I'm going to have to say goodbye, but you can stay on if you like. Yeah,
I will stay on for a little bit because we didn't actually break this video, did we? We were going to, but we were just so enthused in chatting. So this one is an hour and a half long. So I'm going
to leave that with you. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody and say goodnight and say thank you for joining with us, and power through and power on and bring your questions. You're welcome to email me if you have a medical question. If I can answer it and I feel like I'm answering it without being specific or overly specific, I will do that for you. If you have general questions about whole food plant-based eating or intermittent fasting, Sue can help with that. So I'm going to go in and rejoin the family. They're probably already thinking that they've lost me to the internet here, so I'm going to get back in and get involved.
Just before you go, I just wanted to let your guys who are watching know that I have a guest for Monday night, a wonderful friend of mine that I met this summer just before I got where I got my cyst infected, at the Fruity Fest. She is a vegan, and she is going to tell her story. She's also a vet, and she's going to tell her story how she found plant-based eating as a result of having breast cancer. So she's amazing. So I want you all to look forward to that. So I just wanted to say that. So I'll let you go. What I think I might do, guys, I've got, how many have I got? 22 of you on. I am going to stop this video now, and then I'm going to come back on.
Okay, so you want me to stop the Skype feed as well?
Oh, right. Because otherwise this is going to be a really long video for people to find stuff on it.
Well, you don't need the Ecamm Live unless you're if you're just going by yourself. So you can just go right on and do a new video, a part 2 video on your own. You don't need me or us to keep this live. So you can just click back on and do a go live video on YouTube.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
So guys, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end this video. I'm going to come straight back on my channel. So if you all hook up, there's 24 of you watching now, and people are asking me about stuff. So we're going to let Dr. Gilmore go. Have a fabulous, fabulous Thanksgiving, and
Thank you.
big hugs and kisses to you and to the Ginger Snap twins.
The Ginger Snap twins, I'm sure, will appreciate that and return the love. And thanks for the visit and great talk this morning. And so I guess we'll go again on Monday, huh?
Midnight my
Our
time.
work continues.
We'll continue. I'll
All
tell you
right.
about the herbal tea on the next video. Okay?
Good.
All right then. I'll see you guys I'll give me 5 minutes and I'll be right back up. So go get yourself some water if you're fasting or something non-calorific that you can drink. And I'll probably see you before Monday, no doubt.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jack. Mwah. Bye, my lovelies. I will see you in just a few minutes, my darlings.